Hey, welcome back to Muscle Dog Mafia, brought to you by MuscleDogMafia.com. So, we're just going to kind of jump into it today. I've got a little bit to go through. This chat is really just intended for me to, one, play with this new software a little bit, and two, for me to answer some questions if anybody pops in, decides to ask anything directly. Otherwise, I'm going to answer questions that have been sent to me while I was away. Uh, Starting question I got asked was, what is my go-to supplement for a multivitamin for my dogs? And if I give my dogs them, uh, that's very simple. I use Missing Link. I use the Missing Link powder. It's what I prefer. I like their hip and joint formula. Uh, you can buy 5 pounds of it for fairly cheap. You can order it off of Amazon. You can buy it at just about any pet store. Most feed stores have it. Missing Link makes supplements for animals, and that's just all they do. I've been using them for years. They're consistent. Uh, like I said, I buy one bag for 5 pounds, and it goes for just about ever. I think, let's see, Atlas here probably goes through a bag a year. Keep in mind, though, that no matter what supplement you buy, no matter how good it is, it's not a excuse for a bad diet. So you have to have your dog's diet needs to be solid. The supplement is really there as a stopgap. It's there just to be a little bit extra to make sure that if there are any gaps that got created, that it fills those in. Okay. Aside from supplement, that's about it there. Next question, while we're on top of supplement questions, I'm sorry I keep looking down. I have all these down on my phone for notes. So the other big one that we have is, what do well, we're on supplement talk. So the next supplement question was, do I believe in giving my dogs probiotics? Yes. I don't give my dogs probiotics all the time, but I do like to keep probiotics on hand. I don't have a favorite probiotic brand, and usually I will try things like yogurt before, or even like kombucha and stuff, before I go to using supplemental probiotics to try to get the dog's system back in line. Typically speaking, your dog shouldn't need probiotics all the time if they're healthy, but there are things that can happen. Sometimes your dog can potentially eat something they shouldn't have eaten. Sometimes your dog, after vaccinations, can mess up their stomach. And sometimes after surgeries and stuff, because you're going to have to put them on antibiotics, that's going to mess up their stomach, and you want to use probiotics to get them back in line. Like I said, I try to go the more food-based route first, but if I feel like that's not doing the job, or if I think, wow, my dog's been on antibiotics for 7 days, let's just skip straight into giving them probiotic to get them back in line and not waste time trying to do it other ways. So yeah, probiotics are definitely a solid way to go. The next question we have is a behavioral training question, and that came in that you have a dog, you let your dog outside, and then you call your dog to come back to you, your dog doesn't come back. Work on recall. That's really all I can say. Is if you're letting your dog out the front door and your dog's not coming back when you tell them to, then maybe it's time to put some shoes on, put your dog on a leash, and take your dog outside. The email I got basically says you're letting your dog out to go use the bathroom. Your dog uses the bathroom and then wanders around the yard, but you want them to come back sooner. So you need to set that standard. Until you get your recall figured out, then you need to go, and you're going to have to walk your dog out, let them use the bathroom, and then bring them back in. If you should take some time outside of just that, and work on recall, work on the reward base, work on, how to get them excited about, hey, I said come here, that means come here. And when they associate that coming to you when you call them is good things, dogs pretty much figure out the behavior. If you need more detail, honestly, if you're having trouble with recall inside the yard, that tells me you're going to have trouble with recall out in the world. You need to go seek out a behavioral trainer in your area and have them work with you on it until you get it right. Okay. I can't really do this with you through the computer. So our next question is a training question, but this is a physical training question. And that was that you have a pit bull, 9 months old, coming in at 60 pounds. That is a huge pit bull at 9 months old. And you are wondering about running your dog. Run your dog. Don't be afraid to run your dog. If your dog wants to run, let them run. Don't put any weight on the dog. Don't apply any pressure to the dog. 9 months old is a little young for like really hard training. I'd avoid running hills or anything like that. But if your dog just wants to run, let your dog run. There's nothing wrong with getting into sprint work at that age. Go to a nice field, relatively flat, and do recall work. Work on the recall with your dog running back and forth between you and somebody else, or working on your sit and stay. Have your dog stay. You walk down the field, then you call them to you. Yeah, your dog's not too young to start working on that kind of sprint work. Keep in mind, though, that they will run themselves ragged if you let them, but I really wouldn't be too worried about it. If they're having fun doing it, let them do it. If you're worried about bone plates and joints and stuff like that, use common sense. Don't run hills. Don't run stairs. Limit the jumping as much as possible. But yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of running. If anything, I'd just be cautious of any kind of running where the dog's going to make a lot of high-speed turns, because that's where injuries are going to occur. But even then, a 9-month-old, I wouldn't be that worried about it. Go have fun. If the way you phrased the question was, I think you're thinking about going the competitive. You want to start getting into sports, being more competitive. Then do it. I mean, you should be training the behaviors already, so just go and do it. And the last question I'm going to answer today is whether or not I still train dogs. And the answer to that is no. I don't train dogs on a domestic level anymore. I still occasionally advise on trainers. I still occasionally will give training advice to people that I know when they ask. Don't be one of those people that gives advice that wasn't asked for. Just if someone asks, then give it to them. But I don't seek out clients or anything like that anymore from a behavioral training side. Nowadays, most of what I do is from a physicality side. I work with people who want to get their dogs in better shape. I work with guys who are looking to get into dog pull. I work with individuals who are training hunting dogs. And I work with the occasional person who's looking to train a guard dog. I don't really like to work with the general public on dog training anymore, especially with certain behavioral things, because it's just, there's no money in it. I can't make a living doing that. I have to make a living doing other things. And there's so many dog trainers out there. Go out there, hire one. There's thousands upon thousands of dog trainers out there. Most of the training I do, like I said, I stay in the physical world. People come to me for, hey, I want to get my dog in shape for this bully show. How do I make sure he has a waist? How's my dog going to look the most muscular when he's on stage? That's what I do nowadays. I work with people on how to physically train their dogs. I work with people who tell me they want their dogs to be faster, and we work on being faster. Dogs who need to be stronger, we work on making them stronger. That's my realm of what I do nowadays. I don't do the behavioral side anymore. So to answer your question, I don't do behavioral training, but yes, I do physical conditioning and things of that nature for people. Okay. And so that's really all the questions I wanted to get into today. Um, Quick little bonus thing. 3 supplements you should always have: a good multivitamin, a good probiotic, like we already talked about, fish oil, particularly salmon oil, is really good for your dogs. Just make sure that you buy a pure salmon oil. When you flip the ingredients around, the only ingredient should say salmon oil. It shouldn't say anything else. It shouldn't say soybean this. It shouldn't say anything. It should just say salmon. Okay. Um, I highly recommend it. It's good for the joints. They're looking at other potential benefits that it might be having. Some people say it's good for shedding. Some people say it's good for skin and coat. I definitely think it's good for the coat because I kind of noticed that my dogs feel a little softer, a little slicker when they have more oil in their diet. Go for it. And another bonus one is, if you live in a really hot climate, right now it's winter time, not too many people are worried about this, but summer is right around the corner. Think about keeping Pedialyte on hand. Dogs don't lose electrolytes quite like we do, but when you're out there and it's really, really hot, cutting Pedialyte into their water can definitely help with mineral restoration. Because when your dog gets hot, one of the things your dog does is your dog starts to urinate a lot more. Every time they do that, they're passing minerals and things out of their system. You need to get those replenished. A little bit of Pedialyte thrown into their water can do wonders during those hot days. All right. Until next time, be good, people. Well, actually, before I go, is there anybody? I think we have one person watching. So until next time, be good, people. Have fun doing it. Keep one in the chamber and take your dog for a walk.